Friday the 13th was anything but unlucky for SpaceX. First, the company launched its 8th Falcon Heavy rocket to date. The 3-booster vehicle took off Friday morning and kicked off a $1.2 billion NASA mission that will explore a metal-rich asteroid for the first time. SpaceX said the Falcon Heavy reached a new level of certification before launching the Psyche spacecraft.
It demonstrates that the launch vehicle is ready for NASA's most important science missions. That means Falcon Heavy has been through the ringer.
Less than 9 hours later, a Falcon 9 rocket took off on a Sunset launch to send up 22 Starlink satellites. It bolsters the more than 5,200 Starlinks launched to date and continues the blistering pace of launching nearly every 4 days on average this year. In fact, SpaceX boasted on Sunday via social media that so far in 2023, it already sent more than 900 metric tons to orbit. So to say that the company is busier than ever would be, well, an understatement. But SpaceX argues that it could be even more efficient. But to do so, SpaceX wants to consolidate its facilities around Florida's Space Coast onto one site at NASA's Kennedy Space Center. And to make that happen, SpaceX proposed a 100-acre expansion to the land it's leasing from NASA. The site is called the Roberts Road Campus.
To one centralized location that'll support all of SpaceX's operations, both the Falcon and Starship programs, in one kind of consolidated campus, if you will. I suppose in the simplest terms, that's the project description, right?
This is Donald Dankert, one of the key folks helping oversee the environmental analysis for this proposed expansion. We'll come back to him in a moment, but first, what is the Roberts Road Campus? Those who closely follow SpaceX will likely know the area, named for the street it faces. The current 67-acre site was approved by KSC back in 2018. It's not often shown publicly, but SpaceX gave folks a glimpse back in 2021 when the crew of the Inspiration 4 mission walked out to adoring fans, becoming the first all-civilian astronaut crew to launch to orbit. One of the most prominent facilities at the campus is dubbed Hangar X. It's where SpaceX refurbishes its Falcon boosters for future flights. NASA and SpaceX share some of the views inside here from time to time when astronauts come by to get a look at the rocket that will send them up to the International Space Station. Earlier this year, it took on another important role. SpaceX shifted its Florida-based launch control operations here after it ended its use of Firing Room 4 at NASA's Launch Control Center on August 28th. The public got a look at that new area as a benefit of the Crew 7 mission. That was the first crew launch from that site. In order for the 100-acre expansion to be considered, SpaceX goes through the same process as any other infrastructure project. It goes through the evaluations set forth in the National Environmental Policy Act of 1969, known simply as NEPA. Part of that was SpaceX drafting this 40-page Supplemental Environmental Assessment, or SEA. It's an add-on to the Environmental Assessment, or EA, that was approved by NASA back in 2018. This NEPA assessment took an important step forward last summer by gathering initial input from both federal agencies as well as the public in a process called scoping.
We collected all those comments from both our interagency scoping and our public scoping, and consider that in the continued development and planning of the project as we're developing the draft environmental assessment.
A number of comments during the public scoping had to do with the future launch and flight operations regarding SpaceX's Starship rocket. However, this EA doesn't concern that. That will be a matter for another day and another process. Dankert says from their assessment so far, much of the impacts of the proposed expansion are limited, either by severity or duration.
In the analysis that we've presented in the EA, there's no, in the context of NEPA, significant impacts. If you've read through it, working with SpaceX, we've been able to identify mitigation measures to mitigate those impacts that we've identified for the development and then operation of the expansion of the Roberts Road campus.
Part of the SEA includes a map of the proposed site. The total footprint of the new facilities could not exceed 1.5 million square feet, and the facility height would be capped around 400 feet. For comparison, NASA's iconic vehicle assembly building is 526 feet tall. The proposal also includes widening the Saturn Causeway by 8 feet. That will become the transport route from Roberts Road out to Launch Complex 39A.
We use the term kind of total plan of development, right? So it's not just the construction of this building, but everything else too, because that all plays a role. And, those can also have potential environmental impacts that we need to be aware of. And, we want to fully understand. So it's always our goal to look at the full breadth of the project proposal.
So what comes next? With the end of public commenting on October 16th, they'll start combing through all of the comments sent in to determine if there's anything substantial that can impact their analysis. After that, they'll craft the final environmental assessment and draft a FONSI, or finding of no significant impact. There's no hard and fast timeline for how long this remaining process will take, but KSC will continue to post updates on its environmental program website. You can find links to that in the description box below. Reporting for Spaceflight Now, I'm Will Robinson Smith.